Aftershocks have hampered rescue efforts in Myanmar as the death toll from Friday's earthquake rose to 1,700. The International Red Cross said the country is facing a complex humanitarian crisis that needs urgent support. In Bangkok, 18 people have now died as time is running out to reach survivors.
Rescuers scatter as an aftershock hits Mandalay. Efforts to save survivors have been complicated after a fresh 5.1 magnitude earthquake hit near the city today. But international teams have made breakthroughs.
Hello.
This man was trapped under a 3-storey building in the capital Naypyidaw.
Okay, water coming.
But after a painstaking operation, 24 hours later he was pulled to safety. This woman and her child were pulled alive from the debris of a hotel in the Mandalay region. At this monastery, 180 monks were sitting an exam when the building collapsed. Chaw Sui's brother is among the missing. I wonder whether he's suffering, whether he's waiting for us. I want to see him, she says. Myanmar's military chief said that the earthquake has so far taken 1,700 lives and injured more than 3,000. The UN said there is a severe shortage of medical supplies, and the Red Cross said the country is facing a humanitarian crisis, hampered by damaged roads and bridges in a country already ravaged by civil war. The exiled opposition announced a 2-week pause in fighting, but it's not clear if all sides will respect the ceasefire. In Bangkok, distraught relatives looked on. More bodies were retrieved from the scene of the collapsed skyscraper as the key 72-hour window for finding survivors is running out. Fergal Gallagher, RTE News.
Well, before we came on air, I spoke to Tommaso Della Lunga, spokesperson at the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, and began by asking him what his colleagues in Myanmar were saying to him about conditions there.
What we are hearing is a simply catastrophic situation. From one side, of course, there is still some hope in finding people under the rubble, so the search and rescue efforts where Myanmar Red Cross is on the front line. But then, of course, we are talking about a situation where infrastructure not anymore there, buildings are collapsed, electricity and telecommunication are big challenges. So even, all this humanitarian response is very complicated, and the area hit by the earthquake was already vulnerable, because it's an area that was hit by the typhoon and flooding almost a year ago. Nowadays, it's 42, 43 degrees, and just to mention, last year, heat waves killed people, and then a monsoon season is around the corner. So we are already looking into housing, shelter, water, sanitation, and health will be very critical for the people who are survived the earthquake.
Given the damage and the difficulties with communications, have you any idea at this stage of the scale of the aid operation that might be needed in the weeks and months ahead?
Well, of course, we have our first assessments and what the Myanmar Red Cross colleagues are telling to the IFRC colleagues who are already in country. We have been having a delegation for several years now, working really hand in hand with the Myanmar Red Cross. So we are hearing what is needed and what are the priorities at the moment. Today we launched an emergency appeal of 100 million Swiss franc, almost 100 million euro, to help and support Myanmar communities for the next 24 months. Then, the reality here is that we'll have a clearer picture in the hours and days to come. But what we know for sure, that this will not be a sprint, it will be a marathon, a long one. And Myanmar communities will need solidarity from the international community, not only for the weeks to come, but for months and probably years to come.
OK, Tommaso Della Lunga, spokesperson at the International Federation